This is great content, and if you don't recognize this as great content, I don't know what to tell you. Chat is getting in its own way once again. If you have any issues with this, like this is gonna be good. So cute, my little Hasanito.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Flagrant. And today, this is the first time that we've been able to say this. We are sitting down with Mr. President. Woo. Mr. President, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
it.
it.
This is awesome. We have a bunch of questions. We're very, very grateful for your time.
Okay.
I just became a dad. My buddy over there just became a dad, Mark.
Yep.
That's good.
Okay, so here's first question.
Great.
You have these children that are seemingly well-adjusted, successful, and I think most importantly, they appear to like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
They better.
I grew up in the city, and there's a lot of people who had like very wealthy parents, and like the kids kind of resent them. They're almost like waiting for them to like die, and they end up in like rehabs,
Doing
and all
drugs,
this
God
other
knows what,
stuff.
yeah.
How do you raise them in the public eye where they, still become ambitious and successful?
So I do have good kids and 5 really wonderful children and different.
This is great content, and if you don't recognize this as great content, I don't know what to tell you. Chat is getting in its own way once again. If you have any issues with this, like this is gonna be good.
Very different. Yeah, they are so different. But you know what?
And it has 2.7 million views in one day.
One thing that was in common that I did, I always used to say when I was with them or when they were leaving a room, I would drive them crazy. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. I would say that.
Did you say that to Don Jr.?
Yeah, Don's a little wild. He's a wild.
Yeah, he does coke.
Yeah, he can be a little tough.
He told me a funny story.
Go ahead.
Okay. I talked to a bunch of people. I was trying to, prepare for this
Right,
interview.
right.
He told me a funny story. And he said to me, he goes, once he asked if he could have a couple of his friends over for New Year's. Was it New Year? No, it was July 4th.
Right.
On top of Trump Tower.
Right?
And you said
friends.
yes. He's like, I want 5 friends. You're like, okay, I'm out of town. Go for it. He brings 200 people over to Trump Tower. Okay?
That's right.
Okay. He says that you weren't supposed to be there. You end up showing up. You hear some noise upstairs. You come up. You go, what the fuck is everybody doing here? Get the hell out of my house. He said he cleaned for the next 36 hours. And he said, to this day, you have never brought up that it even happened. And he said, I'm starting to believe it might not have happened. Yeah. So can you give him closure?
No, it happened. No, I can never give closure. You can never forget. A lot of people like to forget things. You can't know. He's a good guy. And, he's taken a lot because he was always a good student. He went to the Wharton School of Finance, which is great, and he did well. But he went into the world of politics not because he wanted to, but because I was there, and I sort of automatically you drag the family in. Mm-hmm. And this guy, what he had to go through with Russia. Because Dad, they're asking me questions about Russia. I don't know anything about Russia. What's going on? And all of a sudden, he's in front of grand juries. He's in front of Congress.
Yeah.
It was a hoax. It was a total hoax.
Yeah.
This was a made-up hoax by crazy Nancy Pelosi and these, the maniacs. Yeah. Hillary Clinton, who's totally nuts. Yeah. And this went on for 2 years. And he'd always say, Dad, I know nothing about this stuff. And he'd go before the grand jury. And, Comey, you have Comey, who's the worst, just a bad guy.
That's the worst.
He went through a lot, and it actually made him tougher. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's good or bad, but he's a tough cookie, that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it made, in his case, it made him tougher. Ivanka did a great job. She didn't want anything. All she wanted to do was get people jobs. I would have made her the ambassador to the UN. I wanted to do that. I think she would have been.
What? I do think this is bad as a softball interview, man. You criticize it for other people you don't like. Why not Trump? Wait, what? Yeah, I know it's a softball interview. What the fuck are you talking about? We've moved past that point. Now is the time to see how normies are going to see Trump in an appealing fashion and what that might do for his election chances. Yeah. After the Theo Vaughn shit, I was like, bro, Donald Trump is getting humanized at an alarming rate for a lot of the low propensity voters out here. in this entire fucking podcast circuit. At first, like, I was like, the Aiden Ross shit is like, you know, it's neither here nor there. But having said that, since then, he's done a lot of these fucking media placements and he's cooking. He just comes across as like very normal, which is, it's definitely, I think it's definitely working. Yeah, his vibes are very 2016, witty, off the cuff, smooth. Yeah.
Been incredible, the whole aura.
In my opinion, it's bizarre that you interviewing a Yemeni teenager is considered outrageous and immoral, but clowns interviewing a monstrous war criminal is applauded. The West cesspool of hypocrisy. You don't need to agree with this take, but it's the truth. Oh, no, 100%. No, absolutely. I said this after the America Deserved 9/11 comment. Like, people, I got banned for that. People fucking say Iran deserves a nuke every day. And you get elevated for saying things like that. It's because around these parts, we don't see people on your side of the world as fucking human beings. That's it. That's it. It's pure Western chauvinism. It is the underpinning of empire. It is the only way to keep up Western imperialism without ever considering the violence that we're dishing out.
She would have been great, but she didn't want that. She didn't, and that would have been a very glamorous position.
Yeah.
She would have been.
Did we forget that this man literally just said Haitians are eating cats and dogs? The fuck are we talking about? He sounds normal. He does. He sounds normal here. That's the problem. People forget that he said he's eating cats and dogs. But you know how people could remember that? If Kamala Harris actually launched a fucking counter messaging campaign against his anti-immigrant screeds. Like, yes, 2 days ago, this motherfucker said immigrants have bad genes that cause them to murder, dog. That was like not even a week ago. He said that. But especially in this day and age, in this media cycle, if one major group is not constantly hammering that point, people are going to forget. People are going to move past it. So take it up with them, not me. What do you want me to do? How much more can I fucking cover Trump's eugenics? People literally forget that there's a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour here. Okay? And I repeat that shit at the top of the hour every fucking hour. And people still forget. And then I tell them, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you could do for $6 or for free. People forget that too. People forget that you can get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's a 3-minute ad break now.
Been great there.
Surely in the interest of impartiality towards candidates, you would consider watching Kamala Howard Stern interview in full after this? Probably not. The less I watch Kamala Harris, the better it is for her chances, at least in this community. The more I watch Donald Trump, the better it is for Kamala Harris's chances in this community. Because when I watch Donald Trump, I'm going to shit on him. When I watch Kamala Harris, it makes me want to fucking kill myself in a video game.
All she did is go to see companies and hire people. She wanted, and she hired, I think it was like 10 million people, some incredible amount of people. She'd go to Walmart, she'd go to Exxon, she'd go to these big companies and see if she could get groups of people hired. Yeah. And she loved doing it. It was great. And there was no glamour, there was no anything, but she got people jobs that made her.
So how do you instill the ambition in the kids? I think a lot of kids that grow up with wealth, they kind of are lazy and they feel like they have no direction in life. And a lot of times they turn to like drugs and other shit. How do you instill the ambition?
Well, you know, I've seen a lot of wealthy families where the kids are mostly don't work out too well. Some don't turn out to be bad kids, but they end up hating the father, or the father maybe wanted them in business. I mean, I have one father that's very competitive with his son. He's if the son were more successful than him,
he would hate it.
He would be unhappy. I said, "Are you crazy? It's supposed to be the other way around."
That's awesome.
My father was so proud of me. He was a successful guy.
Dog, your father bailed you out like 11 times. What are you talking about? And you still bankrupt the casino.
Yeah.
But my father wanted me to be more successful. I mean, he was so proud of all the things. I wish he could have seen what happened because we did things. But he was, you know, he's just a proud father.
What do you think?
And I think most fathers are that way. I hope that. But I've known many fathers that are very successful that didn't want that broke up over their son's success. If, in the few cases where the son was more successful, which was very seldom, actually.
Yeah.
It's very seldom. You take people like in sports, because in sports you see it, because it's a microcosm of life, but it's quicker. And you'll take like the greatest golfers, and they'll have a son, and he'll be really good as a young, but they never supersede, almost, I can't think of any, they never supersede the father in terms of success. And in sports generally, baseball, you can go to a lot of different sports. And it really is a sort of a microcosm of life. But with life, it takes a lot longer to find out the end
Come to
result.
fruition.
Ted, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we said you're a great father up top. First thing you say is, I've got great kids. You didn't take credit. And then your entire...
Glaze! Oh my God, bro. Take his dick out of your mouth. Take his dick out of your mouth. Oh my God. Wipe the cum off. Wipe the cum off before you speak. Holy shit, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Glaze!
answer. I thought this was really cool. Your entire answer is about how great your kids are. That was a very cool thing.
Thank you. That's very nice. I think I like...
Ah! Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. Bro. That is... Woo! Woo, buddy.
This interview. I think I think he's right. And by the way, congratulations! I hear your show is is crazy monster success.
We're doing pretty good. We're very we're interviewing presidents.
It's really good, and right in the middle of a campaign with only 29 days to go.
Yeah.
And you're taking up time.
Just to talk about your family.
Yeah, we're just complimenting
you. You know what it is? It's a different world out there. You guys and some others.
Yeah.
We had the standard television stuff for many years, and that's still, I think it's underrated now. I think it's still very important. But, but there's a whole new thing. Elon interviewed me on something.
Yeah.
And I think they said 275 million hits or listens.
That's a lot of people.
That was a record.
That's a nation. Yeah.
But it's a whole new, different way of
Can I ask you a question
getting the word out, right?
About Elon specifically, is he your favorite African American?
He's a piece of work, I'll tell you. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's obviously a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw the rocket engines come back, I said, what is that? Like a couple of years ago, you've never seen rockets go up and then they crash into the water. Yeah. And I see the engines are coming back and they're landing.
It's unbelievable.
They're landing.
Dude, there's nothing that reminds me that I'm just like not living in the same plane of existence as these people than like the fucking relentless Elon glazing. Every time I hear people talk about him on like these terms, I'm just like, we are not on the same planet, dude. We just straight up are living in alternative realities, I think. I'm in a parallel universe. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, dude. Donald Trump himself has made fun of Elon. One of his greatest banger quotes was like, Elon would come to my fucking White House and suck me off. Like, is Elon your favorite African American? Is like, yeah, sure. Haha, it's funny. Okay. I've heard it a million times over. It's neither here nor there. But like, when they just start talking about how brilliant he is, I'm like, how? Like, there's no way you have to believe this. Like, there's no way you can believe this, right? Like, it just... Oh my God. It makes no fucking sense. I hate that shit more than like thinking that Donald Trump is a good dad.
And they land on a raft in the middle of the ocean someplace with a little dot, and they land right on the top of the spot.
And my wife can't parallel park.
I know. Most people can't. But no, he's great. But he's got a great heart. He was with me, as you know, on the other night.
Yeah.
And we were honoring a man who got killed at a rally, Corey, firefighter, great guy. And it was a beautiful evening. But Elon went out, and he loved the crowd. He loves the country.
Yeah.
And he's picked a side. A lot of people don't want to pick a side. I have a lot of people that are big supporters of me.
Yeah.
But they won't go all out. They can't.
They're scared.
Quite.
There's a cost.
Scared. Yeah. There's a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Major cost for being a supporter of the guy who was the former president. This is straight up fake victimhood nonsense that right wingers ran on for so goddamn long, dude. It's the same shit. They did this in like 2016. Oh, we're the silent majority. It's like, bitch, you are not silent. Okay. You should be. And you are not the majority either. Fuck. Yeah. This is also a good point. Trump admitting that there's a social cost to siding with him is pretty funny. Yeah, it just basically says like, it basically shows that he understands that he is like a repulsive individual in the eyes of many. I guess he sees that. He's a room reader, you know?
There is a cost, but there's also a liability. I mean, you know, some people, I respected a lot when this guy was up there doing jumping jacks. You got to vote for Trump. You got to vote for Trump.
He was jumping high.
Yeah.
He was jumping high.
Looked
You know
quite
what?
African.
When he jumped, he's in good shape.
Oh, God.
I'm looking at his waist. I'm saying, wait a minute, does he work out or something? But he really, and he had a great time. And you know, he's
Wait, what? Trump saw his waist and said, does he work out or something? Oh my God. He did not think that. We saw the photos, dog. You can't lie. You look grossed out. He looked utterly repulsive.
he's not out that much. He's probably
No.
maybe a little. Would you say he's a little recluse?
Get out of our country, you Turkish bum. I can hear it now and again. Trump champ. Please do not ban this guy, mods. I love this guy. They're just begging for a chance to be racist. Begging. Yeah. Dude, Donald Trump is so fucking intensely disliked. How does it make you feel that your fucking orange baboon of a candidate got fucking almost assassinated twice and it didn't even fucking move the polls remotely? Like, that's how much they despise him. And part of that is because of you. Okay? You are the reason. Because Donald Trump aside, because he's like somewhat charismatic and can be funny and human at times, even though he's a fucking charlatan and a psychopath, his supporters, his diehard supporters, are some of the most clueless, delusional, angry, fucking monstrous pieces of shit in every fucking village, town, municipality, state. You know when a Trump supporter is coming, okay? They stink. They got this fucking scent on them. They're just walking around angry all the time. Half the time they're imagining that there's like pedophiles around, even though they're not wrong. There is a pedophile there. It's usually the Trump supporter. Like, it's just gross. Y'all are fucking gross as shit. How does that make you feel? That anger and resentment that you have towards the liberal elites that have ruined your life. Like, you're ruining your life, man. Go take a shower. Take the fucking ugly ass Trump merch off. Take it off your body. Be normal. Stop reading shit on Facebook. Integrate yourself back into normal society, please. Jesus, Lord, mercy. Nasty ass motherfucker living in a parallel universe. It's moments like the Elon Musk jump that remind me that these people are just so fucking brain broken. Like when Elon Musk was jumping up and down and people were posting about him on Twitter, like, he's so sexy. He's so cool. I was like, damn, dude, these people have like deluded themselves so goddamn hard. They've deluded themselves so goddamn hard. They're just like looking at something that you normally with your lizard brain could react to in a certain way. Like everyone sees that and they're like, what? Ew, what the fuck? What are you doing? What are you, a child? Meanwhile, these guys are like, nah, he's sick. I ain't going nowhere, bitch. I ain't going nowhere. Friendly reminder. Damn, Elon Musk has blocked this link from being shown. They're like, yo, he had Trump. Trump is like, I saw. I was like, damn, do you work out? No, he did not think that at the moment. What a dork, dude. What a fucking loser he is.
Reclusive, possibly.
Yeah. He's also busy. He's got like 5 different
he's very
companies.
busy and maybe a little reclusive.
Yeah.
But he had the greatest time. He was saying, look at these people. We had 100,000, more than 100,000 people.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
It was a record. It was, nobody's ever seen. And it was really, it was a celebration of a life. And it was really a mega deal.
Yeah.
And he was a big MAGA person. His family was there. And 2 other people that were very badly hurt were also celebrated. They were very badly hurt. They weren't actually expected to live.
Yeah.
And they lived. And they had incredible doctors. Some of those country doctors are better than the big doctors that we spend a lot of money on. And they don't do as good. I will tell you right now. I don't want to knock anybody, but those country doctors saved 2 people because I was told that 3 would. No, think of that. 3 would be in trouble. And 3 were going to, now Corey immediately, but the other 2 were so bad that they thought they wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
And those country doctors, they pulled them together. They did a great job.
Okay, so you're going back into this place where, you know, there was this assassination attempt.
You can also tell, like, again, his resentment for anyone that doesn't immediately live in New York or Miami, Florida, is so apparent. He's like, those country doctors, you know, they're veterinarians, basically. They're working on animals for the most part. He is such a fucking elitist, dude.
They hit you. Headshot.
Yeah.
You survive.
That, like, straight up, imagine Kamala Harris saying some shit like that, bro. Oh my God. They would be fucking, they'd be like, wow, Kamala Harris, bi-coastal elitist, talking about how country doctors can't. There'd be like a Republican TikTok campaign of like every anti-vaxxer nurse across the planet, every anti-vaxxer nurse across the continental United States, fucking doing TikTok dances being like, country girls make do, country doctors make do.
Yeah. It was not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Beer looks
scared?
better, by the way.
No, I'm not scared. You know, I have an attitude. It's interesting. It's sort of, it is what it is. Does that make any sense to you guys? You know, you do what you have to do. I felt it was important to go back. A lot of people, I guess, agreed with me because it was over 100. I think they said 108,000 people in the end. That's a lot of people.
Super Bowl.
And I had no guitar. You know, if you have a guitar, it's easy. When you don't have a
I
guitar,
thought you said Qatar.
Yeah, me too.
I have guitar. I do have that. They like me very much, but I don't have a guitar.
Yeah, you have the
right?
guitar. Yes.
So anyway, but that was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, no, I like it when somebody like Elon, who has a lot to lose, is willing to do what's right.
Yeah.
Some people know it's right to do, and I'm not just talking about endorsements and all, but they don't want to do things because they're.
They don't want it to cost them opportunities
the word
in the
is
future.
they want to be politically correct, and
Yeah.
actually they're doing a bad thing. I think for themselves and for a lot of people they may represent.
Okay, opening line when you walk out there.
Right.
I mean,
I
amazing.
was wondering what you were going to say, and as a comedian, you can seize the moment.
Yeah.
And
I think he was a hell of a comedian, by the way.
I appreciate
That's
that.
what the word is. That would-
So I hear you.
I don't watch.
I hear, I see the video, and you go up there and you go, as I was saying.
right.
Crowd goes fucking berserk, or what?
They went, I would say, crazy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't
Biggest
sure.
pop you've
so-
experienced?
Yeah, I'll tell you how, you have this as a comedian or even not as a comedian, just when you make a speech or you make some very serious statement.
Yeah.
So we're at a very serious and somber thing
Event,
because
yeah.
we're celebrating a life that is no longer with us. And I wasn't sure whether or not that thing, I had it in my mind for a long time. Once I said I'm going back, which I wanted to go back immediately, I wanted to actually finish my speech, okay? When I got up, I said, let me finish my speech. But I'm surrounded by like 8 very
No, you didn't. You said, "Where are my shoes? I need my shoes."
Large, strong
Yeah.
men, and a very wonderful woman. You saw that.
Yeah.
But I'm surrounded by guys. They said, "Sir, no way, go." And I have blood pouring down, but I really wanted to finish my speech. I said, I think I had like 50,000. I had a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I went down, I was sort of like embarrassed. I said, I went down in front of all these people. You know, that was my first thing. I don't want to be embarrassed.
You were
but I
embarrassed that
wanted
you
to.
went down after being shot?
Yeah, well, you weren't exactly sure what the hell was happening at first, you know.
Yeah.
But also, you came back up with the fist raise. That's one of the hardest pictures.
I did, but I was also,
Did you hear them?
Glaze. Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. Jesus Christ. Every time this man speaks, oh my God. It was one of the hardest pictures, bro. It was one of the hardest pictures, bro. I swear. God damn. How is he outflanking Andrew on this? That's his fucking specialty. That's crazy that, yo, you go on Flagrant and you are outflanking Andrew Schultz on glazing the fucking guest, no matter who it is. That's crazy.
Say he's down, or were you just
so
like?
When I got hit, I assume that it's funny.
Is it?
When I was down there, it is sort of strange. I guess now it's a little bit, we can smile a little bit, but not really, because the three guys, one killed, two very badly hit.
Yeah.
But when I went down, I had total realization. It wasn't a surreal. You know, they talked about a surreal. That could be a surreal experience, like when something happens, some traumatic thing happens. People they lose focus. They have no idea where they are. I've heard many people where that happens. Something.
Okay,
My son Don told me, actually.
I'm bored of the fucking assassination story. It didn't happen. It's not real. It's AI image. Everybody knows it. All right, move on.
Great shooter. So is Eric. They're great shooters. They're like better than Scratch. Okay, if you use
yeah.
And they say it's amazing because it was 130 yards. To me, that sounds like far away, but it's not. For shooting, it's not. He said that would be like sinking a 1-foot putt for just a decent shooter.
Wow.
And I don't know if you guys are shooters, but they said if you're a shooter, it's almost impossible to miss. It's that close. It's really considered that close. I mean, 300, 400, 500 yards is very doable, but this is supposed to be very close. And so he said, I think Don became more religious, actually. You want to know that had a
yeah, okay, dude. Sure, bud.
big impact. He said it's impossible. The doctor, actually, when I got to the hospital, they were fantastic. Butler Hospital. I get there, and the doctor greeted me, and he looked at me and looked it over. He said, "You are the luckiest man I've ever met."
Wow.
He said, "You should immediately go out and buy a lotto ticket." Can you imagine? He's telling me to buy a lotto ticket. There's blood all over the place. Yeah. And he said, "I've been doing this for 25 years." He said, "I've never seen a thing like this."
Wow.
Because it's just whacked it, but it was something that was, relatively not so bad compared to what could have happened. So I feel very lucky. It was an amazing experience, a horrible experience in most ways. In some ways, it was beautiful because I was somehow, I hopefully Corey's protected too, who's the firefighter, and he's in a good place, maybe a better place than we're in here, because this world is a little bit on the tough side. But it was an amazing experience.
Do you feel like a increase in your spirituality after something like
Well, maybe, especially when I'm hearing from people that do shoot and are good at it, that it was almost impossible to miss from, like a 1-foot putt. You
start to
very
believe.
hard. You got to miss it. That's a bad putt, right? Yeah. He equated it to a 1-foot putt. When they say that, I say, wow, that's so, you're saying, they said a bad shooter would hit you from that distance 100% of the time.
Wow.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And here I am. We're doing this wonderful interview with 4 geniuses that are hot as pistols, right? Good hearing this guy.
Yeah. Likewise, sir.
Pretty good stuff you got. So anyway, but here we are.
Who do you think tried to take you out?
So I'm going to give you some big breaking news, right?
Love that.
Because I know the kind of show and it's entertainment, but it's also very serious. I mean, I get the whole picture. And you know what? If it was just funny stuff, you wouldn't have the success you've got, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
It's nice to intersperse it, but I'll give you something. So, first of all, I have great respect for the Secret Service. And the guys that were with me, I went down and I did a good job going down because those bullets were winging over my head. If I would have been up for another couple of seconds, I also wouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
But I didn't consider that as lucky as turning to the right at that one. It was like 1/16 of a second.
Yeah.
Was the only time that I was safe, essentially.
Right.
If I would have gone a little further, I would have been hit. If I would have gone not as far, I would have been hit. I mean, I had like this little tiny moment. And the amazing thing is the sign is always on my left. And it's always at the end.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Who does Trump think tried to get him? Okay, that's a good question.
And I only use it because you have this shooter and you have
Wow.
the shooter. So you have this shooter and you have another shooter, right? So this shooter had 3 or so cell phones. The FBI.
You know what's really funny? Under normal circumstances, the primary victim is probably one of the more knowledgeable people that you can go to ask about like additional information that you might not have been privy to. But Donald Trump is such a serial liar that immediately when he starts talking about like the shooter or what their background is, I immediately am like, there's no way what he's saying is truthful. Like, I just caught myself. As soon as he started talking about the cell phones or whatever, I was like, oh, he's going to lie. I don't even know if he's actually lying here, but I'm so used to him just like lying about every basic fact about every single thing that immediately I'm like, oh, he's probably going to lie here. It's a funny situation.
Guys never gotten them opened.
Wow.
The other shooter, 3 apps, they call them. And I believe they were foreign-based apps, from what I understand.
What, probably Telegram? Yeah, he was in fucking Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
They haven't opened them, and they're foreign-based. And, you know, you hear all about Iran, because I was rough with Iran, but I want to see Iran do great. I want to see Iran do great.
Yeah.
But I want to stop all the killing and all this. And I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. In fact, I think it takes great courage for you people to be interviewing me, because it could be now, you know.
Yeah.
They
Well,
could
we
be
didn't know
right
that
now.
before we got in here.
No, if
before.
you would have known that, you might not have done this.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, this is a good way of me getting the interview to be shorter. Exactly. All of a sudden, he's going to say, you know, okay, that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Go see my daughter.
Anyway, they have 3 apps, and foreign-based, 2 of them, maybe 3 of them are foreign-based. They haven't opened them yet. Why wouldn't you open them when you hear about Iran or when you hear about, you know, foreign? Then the other one had 6 cell phones, and they haven't opened. Now, you know, it's very hard to open a cell phone. Only Apple can do it in theory, unless you have somebody. But they had no problem getting the J6 people's cell phones open. They opened their cell phones very quickly. You know, we have 2 countries in a way. What's happening here is very bad. It's very dangerous. We almost had one because I had the greatest economy in the history of our country, and people were coming together. We almost had one. But we really do have 2 right now, and it's a shame because I think we'll get them together. Success will bring us together. But they should get those phones opened. And, you know, when there's an assassination attempt on a former president who's now, I'm proud to say, leading in all the polls against the Democrat, I don't know which one is running. You know, you don't know what the hell's going on. I'm the only one that had to run against 2. I run against 2 Democrats. But this is a first. We create a lot of firsts. Usually you run against somebody. Here I run. I had the debate. I was way up on him. Yeah. And then they say, oh, let's put some. This is like with Dana White, a fighter. So you're fighting, and the one guy's getting killed. And they say, oh, that's okay. Let's put in another fighter to finish it off, okay? And you're fighting. You say, hey, wait a minute. I have a brand new fighter in here.
WWE.
I spent $150 million on beating Biden. And then all of a sudden, I hear that they're going to overthrow him. It was a coup. I mean, it really was. But I would like them to open up these apps and find out what's in there. And so he had six cell phones. Who has 6 cell phones? Mm-hmm. Having 6 cell phones is weird. I have cell phones. If I ever have 2, it's like a lot.
Yeah.
He had 6 cell phones. Why does he have them? And why haven't they opened up those cell phones?
So if you had to
And
guess.
it's different. You know, if you're a drug dealer, I think it's terrible in many ways, but I guess from another standpoint, Apple, the primary group, people buy those phones because they will never open them for any reason. But they got them open on J6. You know, they opened up their phones, but they don't open. And this is big stuff. This is an assassination attempt. And it could involve other countries.
There was that San Bernardino shooter that they hacked. The FBI was able to hack into the phone. Apple didn't give it up, but they were able to
There are
hack in.
some people in the world, very few, that have an ability to sometimes be able to hack in.
Got it.
Very rarely, actually.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing when you think that with all the genius, you almost can't do it. But Apple has a key. And the key is, I mean, they can do it immediately.
Yeah.
But they don't do it. And they don't do it. And that's one of the reasons that, like, I hate to say it, drug lords feel very confident that they'll never be exposed. And they use their cell phones, their Apple phones, and maybe it's that way with other companies. I don't know. They have Samsung, they have other companies. But it's very hard. Apple's very strong on that. But when it comes to the assassination of a president, leading candidate, former president, all that, I think the rules have to go out and they have to open those things, then they have to find out. And
In terms of national security,
some people would say
think
you have to either punish Apple or you have to get somebody that can do it. But in terms of national security, so the one guy has 6 phones, lots of messages to people. Who are those people he's calling when he's hiding behind a bush?
So if you had to guess, I'm sure obviously you've thought about this a lot. It's an assassination attempt. If you had to guess, who do you think is responsible?
These are great questions. What the hell?
Okay, reverse glaze. Okay, he got what he wanted. Trump is so good at making you feel important. He's so good at, like, on these interviews, like, you understand, he is a glad handler. No, it's not No, 100%, dude. He always does this shit. Dude. He is a con man through and through. This is con man behavior, okay? He is a narcissistic con man, and he is so good after years and years of fucking wheeling and dealing. He's so bad at business, but he's very good at just like, oh, these questions, they're so good. He did this with like Theo Vaughn too, you know? Yeah, what are we talking about? He conned a nation, dude. That's peak, okay? And he still continues to do so. I'm sorry. If you think that he is not a successful con man, I don't know what to tell you. He literally conned like tens of millions of Americans into thinking that he gives a single solitary shit about them when it is so obvious he does not. Okay? And he's not like a particularly smart individual either.
I don't get these questions from the fake news.
Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell's not asking
Like
this.
Deface the Nation. They have the woman on Brennan. She's on Deface the Nation. She was terrible with the way she handled J.D. Vance, who did a great job the other night.
He did do a great job.
But I don't get questions like that. Did you ever hear of the show? Deface, ladies and gentlemen, it's Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. It's called Face the Nation. They hate me.
Yeah, he loves his little jokes. It's called Deface. It's called Face the Nation. But you see what I did there? I call it Deface the Nation. Oh, he loves God, his little jokes, man. Explaining his joke.
They spend millions of
They would
dollars.
name a show that?
Oh God. Oh, gross. That's gross. Glaze! You did not think it's that funny. God damn. Have some self-respect, dude. You got some cummies in that mustache. Wipe it off, Andrew.
Oh, I see. You didn't hear of it. That's good. They spend millions of dollars on the name CBS. Yeah. And then I come along and I say it's Face the Nation.
Okay, he's still explaining it. Come on.
Yeah.
Or Meet the Fake Press. Meet the press.
You're good at
I
this.
say Meet the Fake Press.
Yeah.
Oh, he thinks this is genuine. Trump is reading this as genuine enthusiasm. Oh God. This is so stupid. It's like, wow, tell me more, Mr. President.
spent all this money, and then I say it once, and it goes to millions of people.
Yeah.
But no, they are fake. But some of these questions are much better.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm honored.
Much better.
You still haven't answered, though.
That was the best dodge of the question.
That was almost, that's your second best dodge in your life.
You almost charmed us out of it.
Trying to get out of it.
All right, fair enough.
Well, look, if you look at assassinations or attempts, first of all, you realize I'm in a very dangerous business.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because 1/10, think of this, 1/10 of 1% of auto races die.
Yep.
Bull riders, I think that's pretty dangerous,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I don't know much about it, but I think I wouldn't want to be on one of those suckers.
No.
Yeah.
I see them flying off and the hoof is like an inch from the eye, and when it hits the eye, you're gone,
Game
right?
over. Yeah.
And they are very, well, it's about the same. 1/10 of 1%.
Yeah.
They're laughing at him, not with him. He's reading it as they're laughing with him. But the real reason why they're laughing is because they're laughing thinking about their bank accounts, okay? They're like, oh my God, we got a fucking softball interview with Donald Trump. We are going to do such insane numbers, okay? Which they did. 2 million views in a matter of a 24-hour time frame. It's pretty good.
And other things, it's never much more than that. That's sort of maxed out, I think. You know,
Yeah.
race car drivers, bull riders, I think that's pretty much tough.
Yeah.
UFC fighters, it's none. You know, I don't think anyone's ever actually...
Not in UFC, in MMA or boxing.
Maybe,
unfortunately,
it must
there was
be.
those tragic events. Yeah.
Amazingly, boxers die a lot. But UFC, Dana tells me it's a safe sport. I say, to me, it's much rougher. But, you know, it's pretty amazing. They've never, in UFC, they've never lost. And they run a great operation. Nobody's died. But with presidents, it's like a substantial percentage.
Way higher than we
When
realized.
you look at Lincoln and Kennedy and this and that. I mean,
attempts,
you go
Reagan.
through McKinley.
Yep. Garfield.
You look at a lot of people. I'm in
Yeah.
a very dangerous
Dangerous business.
profession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call it a profession.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
like
dangerous profession.
I like that.
I'm sitting with you guys. You have a very nice, safe life. Me?
Yeah.
So, no, if you said 5%.
I think he called us soft.
No,
Yeah,
but think
I'm fine
of
with
it.
that.
Yeah, but think of it, 5%.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's high.
That's a lot.
I think even the attempts is something like
Attempts?
25%.
Yeah.
Of
attempts
presidents have
is
had
getting
attempt.
into really
It's crazy.
numbers. So people don't think of that. You know, you run and you see, and then you win, and you're down Pennsylvania, and you're looking at everything. So you're in a
That's the danger
dangerous
starts.
profession.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. I was saying before, though, that, you know, I do a thing called a weave. And there are those that are fair that say, this guy is so genius. And then others would say, oh, he rambled. I don't ramble. If I start a story, what you do is you weave things and you do it. You have to have certain things. You need an extraordinary memory because you have to come back to where you started.
Yes.
You always, a weave is only good
They
if
don't
you
give
come
you credit
back.
for that.
Yeah, it's true.
That you could go all the way over here and then
I
get
can
back.
go so far here or there, and I can come back to exactly where I started. Now, someday when you don't come back to where you started,
You're Biden.
then you say, no, but the weave is the way. When you're telling like a story, I was telling a story at a rally the other day in front of thousands of people, and I started off, and then
You were weaving them up.
something in the story,
bro.
I actually mentioned Air Force One. It was Air Force One was there. So I mentioned Air Force One, and then I said how I got $1.6 billion off the price of Air Force One. So, but then you have to come back to the story. Where was Air Force One taking you?
As
So
always.
anyway, I do a weave. I call it the weave. And some people think it's so genius, but the bad people, what they say is, you know, he was rambling.
Yeah.
It's not a ramble. There's no rambling.
This is a
with it.
weave.
This is a weave. I call it the weave. Good name. I'm not sure. That's another name. We had fake news.
Yeah,
We came
yeah.
up with lots of names.
Yeah.
But the weave is, I
love my
think we should
little
make the
name.
weave a part of that
Yeah.
stable.
Yeah, you really weaved your way to answering my question twice.
That's brilliant.
So
I don't even want to know the answer anymore.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep weaving.
I lost interest.
We'll weave back. Let's weave back to his question. Because this is where it started. So we'll
I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think he's dodging the question expertly. I think that's just how his brain works. I don't even think he's like demonstrating expertise. I think he's just a rambler. Dude, no, you just can't comprehend the weave. Dude, listen. What I am reminded of the time when Trump did a Michigan rally, which was supposed to be a town hall, with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and a UAW worker came on stage. This was a couple weeks ago. UAW worker very clearly asked a question that is a layup for Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, how will you help the auto industry? Mr. Trump's answer, like right out the gate, was nuclear warming, nuclear war. There is no discernible, decipherable reason for why Donald Trump dodged that question. He wasn't weaving. He's just that guy. He's just like that.
Weave back to us. I sort of hate answering it because I don't want to give any false identities. I don't want to do anything having to do with creating
You literally explain it in the same way, right?
proliferation, which is a very big problem, bigger problem than global warming, a much bigger problem than global warming in terms of the real world. That would be a great thing.
But just
No,
insane how his mind works.
Of justice.
And you know
You love
exactly
your
how his
father,
mind
the
works
devil.
because there's zero filter. And when I say zero filter, I don't mean like Trump is a truth teller, like he's unfiltered. I mean literally he does not process what is coming out. Like words, it's like a word cloud. Donald Trump is literally like a word cloud machine. Okay? He's just like, smart. I am smart. I read books. Cognitive ability. I'm the best. Russia is good, but also bad. Who cares?
Do you read your written brief?
I do. I read a lot.
I wasn't a baby, dude. It's the same mic, but a different condenser. That's it. God damn. Shut up, chat.
something that isn't there. You would look at Iran. Iran has an open threat out for me, and that's bad. And Biden, if he were a real president, if he were
Back when my boy was broke, now we up. Yep. All the way up.
the kind of guy he should be, should say, if anybody shoots a former president who's now the leading candidate, even though he's leading against Democrats, we will bomb that country into oblivion. And it would stop. And that's been said before with some people. You know, there have been people, I won't go into it, but there have been people that have been threatened in another party even. In the same party, it makes sense and probably happens pretty quickly. But in another party, you know, it's hard for them to
cross the
to
line.
want to protect me. But it shouldn't be hard. Other people have protected other people. And what you have to inform those people is if they do it, the country will be blown to smithereens. The entire country will be blown to smithereens. And those threats go away, because that's a really bad threat for a country. Forget about me, I'm an individual, but I represent something very important. It's true. That's a really terrible threat. So, I mean, there are others that could be in that category. Look, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China at a level that no president took in anything. I had tariffs on China, took in hundreds of billions of dollars. They're still there. That without me, they wouldn't have those tariffs on. So you could say, but no, I think Iran would be the one.
All right, guys, let's take a break for a second, because we got to shout out the great.
It was tough with other countries, but I got along very well with them. But, you know, we were like a pussycat. We were ripped off by every nation in the world, and some of the worst rippers were our so-called allies, people that countries that we supposedly get along with, but they're the ones that took advantage of us on trade at a level like, you know, I mean, I ended some of the dumbest trade deals I've ever seen and made them much better for the country. I mean, what difference does it make? I took a terrible trade deal, would make it a good trade deal. But like Japan, I redid the trade deal. South Korea, I did the trade deal. The deals. I went to Abe of Japan. I said, Shinzo, he was assassinated. He was as you probably know, he was an incredible, great man. He was a great leader for the people. They loved him. I said, Shinzo, look.
They literally, okay, no. After he got assassinated, the country was like, actually, that was good that happened, and we should listen to the assassin's demands.
We can't do this. The trade deal is so bad. We're friends, but I have to renegotiate the trade deal. And he said to me, I knew that would happen. I said, why did you know? Because you.
So a lot of people who hate the country they're in to have their country destroyed. Smart sounds like a way to give crime lords sway over the country. Do this or else. What? I can't even tell. When people write like this, I can't tell if it's like a hog or like a Democratic hog.
You're right. It's so one-sided.
Wow.
It's like he said, I knew you'd catch us. But they went through many presidents where Japan was, as an example, they'll send us millions of cars. We're not allowed to send them any. They send us their farm product. We were sending them practically nothing. It was like a one-way. Everything was one way. And by the way, virtually China was the worst, but there were many countries almost as bad. The European Union was almost as bad, in my opinion. You know, it sounds nice. Oh, the European Union is so nice. They were ruthless in their trading. And I said to Angela Merkel, how many Chevrolets do we have in the middle of Berlin? Why? I don't believe any. I said, you're right. And yet we take in all of that. We take in Mercedes-Benz and BMW, and we take in all of this Volkswagen. We're taking in all of these millions and millions of cars. I say, how many American cars are in the middle of Munich or Berlin? And the answer is none. And I had things change around. So, you could say, I think that the answer would be, at this moment, Iran. And I think they could catch him. And if we had a real president, which we don't have a real president. We have a man that is grossly inept. And it's very dangerous because these guys are all at the top of their game. When you talk about President Xi and you talk about any one of the leaders in the world, Macron, and he's a smart guy. He's all for France. I mean, he would take the shirt off your back if you didn't know what you were doing.
So when you're with these guys, are these guys all sharks?
Yeah.
And you can sense the energy immediately?
Yeah, not all of them, but some of them aren't sharks in terms.
How are you assessing personality?
Victor
well,
Orban. That's my goat.
I can tell you, like
Great.
Modi, India.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. He's great.
India.
He's the nicest.
India. This is for you.
Oh, good. Well, I'll tell you. Do you like him or not?
Yeah.
Do you like him?
I have family on both sides of it.
Okay,
I have
well,
family
let me
that
tell
loves
you.
everything and family
I'll just
that's
tell
not.
you, though. You meet him. I know. Well, they had, before him, they were replacing him every year. It was very unstable. He came along.
He's in a lot
and he's great. He's a friend of mine. But on the outside, he looks like he's your father. He's the nicest, total killer.
What do you think of Modi? I don't know. What do you think I think of Modi? Indian Adolf Hitler? Yeah, no, I don't like him. Yeah, no, not a fan.
Because I asked him,
Yeah.
we're talking, they did a thing called Howdy Modi in Houston, Texas.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they filled up the stadium. It was me and him. We filled up the stadium. It was beautiful.
No matter how many sorry videos I watch where they draw them all cutesy and shit, still Indian Adolf Hitler. Not a fan.
80,000 people was going crazy. And we're walking around today. Maybe I wouldn't be as, maybe you wouldn't do that. But we're walking in the middle, waving to everybody. Anyway, but we have a very good relationship. He's the nicest human being. But we had a couple of occasions where somebody was threatening India. I said, let me help. I'm very good.
I actually really wanted to hear your thoughts on his uneven trade deal comment with the EU. He's talking about, I think he's talking about NATO security contracts that he re-examined, that where he demanded that like NATO nations give more, like put more money in themselves and not simply rely on American defense. And that's it. And basically what ended up happening is, after considering that as the most anti-NATO position you could arrive at, the Democrats followed through on that. They never even changed that policy.
Good with those people. Let me help. I will do it. I will do it. And I will do anything necessary. We've defeated them for hundreds of years.
Wow.
He was talking about a certain country.
Yeah.
You can probably guess the country.
Yeah.
Can't fathom which.
You know the country.
Yeah.
But I said, whoa, what happened there? What happened? So, no, they're all tough and they're all smart. And some are very good people. He's a good person. There's some are
they're-
good people and some aren't good people. But they're
yeah.
all at the top of their game. And we have her,
Yeah.
who is now more important than him, I guess, although he's still president of this country.
Yeah.
And we're talking about nuclear war, and
Yeah.
he's not capable. He doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah.
He said yesterday, when they talked about should they hit Iran's nuclear, no, you shouldn't do that. I said, no, it's sort of just the opposite, because the nuclear is the biggest threat we have in the world today. It's not global warming where the oceans are rising 1/8 of an inch in the next 500 years.
Right.
The threat that we have, the biggest threat, is nuclear war.
Yeah.
You seem
Because-
concerned about that.
I am, because it only takes one. I am.
Very true.
There are 5 countries now that have capability, and soon they'll have more, and we shouldn't let there be more. And I was at a point very good, despite the
Yeah, which is why I ripped apart the Iran denuclearization agreement. That was Barack Obama's signature foreign policy accomplishment, simply because Israel wanted me to do so. Like, I shit on Barack Obama quite a bit. That, unironically, was his signature foreign policy accomplishment. That and normalizing relations with Cuba. And Donald Trump came in and was like, Israel doesn't like this. I'm cutting it out. And it's so funny that, like, yeah, that deal took years to make. Yes, it is a deal that that had European partners working on it for decades. And he was like, yep, nope, fuck that. Why are you pro-Iran not having deterrence? I'm on board with normalizing relations with Iran if they don't build nukes, that's fine. Like, ultimately, I don't have an issue with Iran having nukes, okay? I know that this is going to come across as like a fucking crazy thing for me to say. In this day and age, if you want to be a sovereign state, you got to have nukes. You know, this is the HasanAbi nuke doctrine, okay? Same goes for Ukraine. Big fuck up for Ukraine, giving up the nukes. Don't give up the nukes. Do I got to run the HasanAbi doctrine back? The reality is no one should have nukes, okay? No one. But in this day and age, you give up the nukes, you're fucked. You don't have nukes. You literally just said you didn't want them to have them, so nice save with the HasanAbi doctrine. Yeah, I'm saying that if it meant stopping your nuclear program, that would have inevitably normalized relations with Iran for the rest of the world instead of crippling sanctions, and Iran said yes to it, then yeah, I'm on board. That's it. What do you want me to do? Behave like a fucking Redditor and be like, excuse me, Ayatollah, you're making a big mistake, sir. You should continue with your nuclearization program. Like, the fuck?
the Russia hoax. It was a total hoax, and we were totally exonerated and everything else. I could have told them that the first day, but that causes, a lot of problems.
Yeah.
A lot of problems, and they're a big nuclear power. We were close to a deal for getting rid of nuclear weapons. It would be so good.
For all countries or just Russia?
We were talking about Russia, ourselves, and China.
Oh, wow.
And we would then bring everyone else into it. And
So you all
I also personally think like Israel, again, demonstrating hubris. Again, Israel thought they could just keep assassinating everyone that is a part of the Iranian nuclear program, and even others who are not even a part of like enriching uranium or whatever. And that is the way that they would be able to stop Iran from developing nukes, developing nuclear warheads. Now that might be wrong. That might prove to be wrong. If you ask the American State Department, they say Iran is 3.5 seconds away from having a nuke every goddamn week. So yeah, I think that diplomacy would have probably been a better way to do it. But the reason why the reason why Israel didn't want it is because they don't want normalization with Iran. Okay, they do not want any normalization with Iran whatsoever. And that is precisely the reason why they told Barack Obama, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? That's why Benjamin Netanyahu came and spoke in front of the U.S. Congress when Barack Obama facilitated the Iran denuclearization agreement.
Strongly.
You all would get rid of your nuclear capabilities.
Denuclearize, yes. We were going to get rid
Totally
of
denuclearized.
nuclear because it's too powerful.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
You know, my uncle, Dr. John Trump, was
Country doctor.
Yeah, Dr. John Trump. Well, he was a nuclear doctor, actually. He was at MIT. He's the longest-serving professor at MIT. He passed away, great guy. He was a brilliant guy, a brilliant scientist. And he used to tell me, he said, a long time ago, he'd say, Donald, someday it's very dangerous. Somebody will be able to carry a small briefcase into a building in New York and blow up the entire city.
Oh, wow.
I said, you gotta be kidding me, Uncle John. That will never happen. He was like a really brilliant guy. He was there for, I think, 41 years. He's the longest-serving professor in the history of MIT.
Oh, wow.
So when I understand physics and when I understand things well, they say, how come there's good genetics. You know, I'm a believer. Are you guys believers in that? Were your parents funny? Were they comedians?
Yeah, my mom's.
Oh my God, he's gonna do this is my favorite Trump take. This is one of my favorite rare Trump takes, okay? He's gearing up for it. He's gonna say, because his uncle is so brilliant, he's also brilliant. But he doesn't want to say it directly. So he's just being like, oh, you're funny, right? Your parents are funny. That's me and my uncle. Osmosis. It's in the genetics. It's in the genes.
Side was is Scottish and
Fellow Scottish, yeah.
Oh.
Scottish women tend to be.
You know,
pretty-
my mom.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
And she was great.
Which is that where you get your humor
Yeah,
from?
well, I tell you what, England at the time, they fought them for 1,000 years trying to get them under toe. They couldn't
England, as they call it.
do it.
Couldn't do it.
They're very tough. That reminds me of my mother, come to think of it. Now, my mother was a
It's so funny to fucking make the Scottish come out to be like Irish. Like, no disrespect to the Scots that despise England, but like, historically speaking, I don't think that the Scottish behaved in a similar fashion to the Irish. Yeah. I feel like they were more willing participants of the process. Then what is Braveheart? It might surprise you to learn that Dr. John Trump is not the longest tenured professor at MIT. Did you know Scots are overrepresented in both the Royal Army and the police force? Wow, I'm shocked. I had no idea.
My mother was great. She was Stornoway,
Yeah.
the Hebrides, right? That's really serious Scottish.
Yeah.
But she was great. But it is true when you see Braveheart, that was one of many times, for hundreds
Did you
of
watch that
years.
with your mom?
To be fair to the Scottish, the pathway was a little bit easier. Like, when you have the worst parasitic force, the worst historic parasitic force at the time, right there on top of you, it's going to be difficult to resist for extended periods of time. That's, that is, I think, the most significant aspect of the difference between the Scottish domination, like the colonial domination of Scotland versus Ireland.
By any chance?
No, I didn't. I didn't get to. I'll tell you, I saw Braveheart. I think Mel Gibson is a very good guy. I've met him.
Oh, they are. They literally. Oh, dude. Chat will be like, Trump is such a dumbass, and then Trump is just repeating Chat's exact same talking points earlier. Scotland, Mel Gibson, he's a great guy. I love Braveheart. Braveheart, I'm brave like him.
A number of times, good guy. But out there, that was super Mel Gibson in his prime.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I was on a plane, and there was absolutely nothing to do. It was one of these planes that you couldn't make calls, you couldn't do, and they had tapes.
That's all planes for us.
And they showed me they showed me, sir, we have 20 tapes. And I looked at the tapes, and they were all, and this was like 20 years after it was made. This was probably 6 years ago. I never saw Braveheart.
Okay.
And
Oh, wow.
they showed me a tape. I said, all right, let's put that one on. And within about 4 minutes, I said, this may be the greatest movie I've ever seen.
Incredible. It's incredible.
Within 4 minutes.
No, I'm a Braveheart fan. But you've seen it.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I saw it with my mom.
I
She
mean,
was
how good.
emotional for like a
It's-
week.
I wish I saw it with my mother. But it was great.
Was that your Braveheart moment, like after getting shot when you stood up?
No, no.
No, never
You
take
don't
my
think
freedom.
of that in those moments. You do what you do.
Yeah, thank God you weren't thinking about Mel Gibson.
Nah, but he's good. But he was when he in prime time, he was great.
unbelievable.
I mean, at
What a
that,
run.
you know, his look, his way, you couldn't have had a better guy playing it. But that was a great movie. So,
Yeah.
but it is true, England, and you know,
Scotland fought
at
for
the time,
years.
for 1,000 years. I mean, they'd have the battles with thousands or once at thousands, and they run at each other. Tell me that.
I
you
mean,
think, you think that takes guts? They run at each other,
I think so.
knowing they're going to pretty much die, right?
The Roman army built walls to keep out the Scottish when they were up in England.
Yeah. They were afraid of the Scottish.
They were afraid.
The Scottish people, they're tough people. They're good people. Actually, they're very great people, but they're good fighters.
But your mom was funny.
She was funny, yes.
That's what I hear. I
She
hear
she
she was.
had a great sense of humor, and my father loved my mother. You know, they were married for...
Yeah. Polar opposites, though?
Yeah, my father was German,
Serious.
serious, but good. He was a tough guy, but he had a good heart. When he walked down the street, and they would say we could walk down the street, he would always give something to, if there was somebody that had problems. He used to have the can and a pencil, you know, the can out. My father would always put $100 in that thing. He'd always do it. Now, he had a tremendous heart, but he was a tough guy. He was tough. He was just like no nonsense. It was firm. My mother was a woman, and I don't know how your mother felt, but she loved the Queen. Don't forget, the Queen was, you know, the Queen was great. Oh, would she have liked, because the Queen honored me before she died. She honored me as the president.
And that's why they killed her. My mother was a woman. Wow. My mother was a woman. Wow, Mr. President. Brilliant. The Queen honored me, so they killed her. So they killed her. They killed her dead. You won't believe it. They don't want the Queen to honor me as president.
In Buckingham Palace. And there's nobody that does it like the English. There's nobody that has that, you know, the pomp and ceremony. But my mother would love that. Your mother, so did she feel strong?
So what happened to that fucking Scottish revolutionary tendency there? So your mother would have loved the Queen honoring you? My mother was a woman. Dude, he's insane, dude. He's just lost in the sauce. He doesn't know what time it is. He doesn't know there's a 3-minute ad break coming. He doesn't know he could avoid those ads by subscribing for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime.
Only about like the royalty?
I think they're obsessed with the royal family out there, like in general.
Your mother would have been.
She was really into all the pageantry, for sure.
My mother was.
Yeah.
My mother thought the Queen was great.
Yeah.
She thought the Queen was so wonderful.
Some of my family hates the English, though. I will be
I
honest.
know.
There's some history there.
I know. But a lot of it's a hard breakup. You know, they tried to break up Scotland from the rest of the empire, so to speak.
Because they got some oil.
And it made it by about like a half a point.
Yeah.
They kept it together, so I hope it stays together. I hope it always stays together. But England, as they say, because it used to be England, but England never could. They just, and they were bigger.
Yeah.
And they had more people.
Yeah.
They could never finish it off by capturing Scotland. So
Yeah.
it's really sort of,
They ended up having to marry together.
they married.
Yeah.
They became sort of subsidiaries, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But it was great. That's interesting with your mother.
Guys, that little chunk of this show.
Okay, so the humor comes from there, maybe some other things, because I think that's one thing that there's bipartisan support for you is even the people that are like, I don't like that guy,
So many fucking ads, bro. Jesus Christ.
will go, hey, he's funny though. He says the funny things. Have you heard this before about
Yeah,
it?
I've heard it.
It's very disarming humor.
Yeah, but in my business, in what I do, if you don't have humor, you won't even survive.
Wait, why is that?
Because I think you have to have a light side. I see a lot of dark things. I see horrible things. I see things that are bad. I see political things that are hard. I mean, we have a lot of corrupt people in this country, and I see it. And horrible corrupt people. We have people that, you know, I really do. We have, from the inside, we have really bad people, and outside we do, but I think the outside is much. I think it's easier to handle China. If you have a smart president who knows, you know, some things, if you had who knows how to deal, let's say,
Yeah.
you're not going to have a problem with Russia. Russia would have never attacked Ukraine if I were president. I used to talk to Putin about it. I got along great with him. They would have never, ever done it. I ended his pipeline, you know. I ended the pipeline called Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2.
Yeah.
I said,
Like, I'm an environmentalist.
I said, are you building a pipeline going to Europe? Yeah. I said, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I told, I got them together. I said, you mean we're defending you from Russia? And
Well, don't worry. Biden blew it up. So who's the real anti-pipeline hero now?
you're paying them big.
Remember when everybody was like, Hasan, how dare you say it wasn't Russia? And then there was recent newspaper investigation out of, was it Denmark, that revealed that they actually saw Navy vessels days prior to the mysterious explosion. U.S. Navy vessels that had their transponders off just venturing around the area. Must be weird. It was also weird because, like, it was also simply weird to me that everyone that investigated the matter just kind of told everybody shut the fuck up about this, you know? A few days before the explosion that destroyed the two Russian-German natural gas pipelines, Nord Stream 1 and 2, which are laid on the bottom of the Baltic Sea, U.S. Navy warships were on the scene. They had switched off their transponders, and when the harbor master of Christianso Island sailed to them because he noticed this and suspected an accident, the U.S. Navy ordered him to turn back immediately. Why would Russia blow up their own pipeline? No, dude. I think there was a nefarious purpose for why they went with that. They were testing the limits of how fucking stupid the American audience is. And honestly, they almost got away with it. Like, they literally were just like, let's just say Russia did it. Maybe these fucking idiots will believe it. My poli-sci class is covering this, and I got to steal your ideas. Yeah. What a fucking stupid thing. People are coming in here being like, Hasan, wrong again. Remember when you said Russia would never invade Ukraine? Wrong again. No, dude, you were just repeating whatever you fucking heard from the last guy because you're a dumbass who can't think on his own. I never even directly said that it was like the United States of America, definitely. I simply stated that it sounds kind of fucking ridiculous that Russia would blow up its own pipeline. This is what the newspaper Politiken, one of Denmark's most important newspapers, writes. Christianso is an island in the archipelago of the same name, which is also called Ertholmen, is the easternmost point of Denmark and is located not far from the island of Bornholm, where both Nord Stream lines run. Politiken refers to the statement of the local harbor master John Anker Nielsen as follows. 4 or 5 days before the Nord Stream explosions, he was with the rescue service from Christianso because there were some ships there with their radios turned off. It turned out that they were U.S. Navy ships. Way to rewrite history. Wait, what? Me? What am I rewriting? Bro, all of this stuff is readily available. You can straight up go watch my YouTube videos at the time. What? I already ran the 3-minute ad break. If that's what you're talking about, if you're trying to do a debate. What the fuck? Check logs. Why is chat being so disrespectful? I take my coffee black. Check logs. I went to HasanAbi of Turkey. What? Okay, he's not. Anyway, because there were some ships there with their radios turned off, it turned out that they were U.S. Navy ships. When the rescue service approached them, he asked by the Naval Command to turn back. Dude, I think people would rather hallucinate like whatever the fuck makes them feel better than to like actually re-examine their opinion at the time. Yeah. Like people were so incredibly fucking primed into believing that like everything I say about Russia or Ukraine is coming from a secret like pro-Russia perspective that they just cannot even imagine. Like, dog, when I am on the side of a group, even if the group is considered a terrorism group, okay? I'm on the side of Palestinians. I very openly tell you that. There's never been a moment where I haven't told you that. Never, okay? I'm very open about it. If I was on the side of Russia, I would tell you. I would make arguments as to why I'm on the side of Russia. I would not like hide my perspective. This is the thing that I would never understand about my naysayers, about these people that like try to ascribe some secret reasoning. No, I'm stubborn. I'm brash. I'm a loudmouth to a fault. Okay? That's it. That's it. So it's always been funny for years at this point where they're like, yeah, I'm anti-NATO. I am openly anti-NATO. I am not pro-Russia. And it's so funny when people are just like, nah, dude, he's secretly pro-Russia. That's why he's anti-NATO. For years, you support terrorists? No, tarot cards are fine. Anyway, if you were on Russia's side, you would just push Z and get the free Russia bucks instead of getting sneak this in the Russian army ad. I know. That's why it was so funny when people are primed to believing a certain thing and then all evidence points to the contrary, they just double down on it. Republicans do it on a daily basis. A lot of liberals do this with me when they examine my analysis over, my statements about Russia. Right? I think you're a bit selective with this. Russian vessels were also photographed in the area. That's crazy. You mean to tell me Russian vessels were photographed in the area of their own pipeline? That's crazy. Definitely a lot weirder for Russian vessels to be in the area of their own pipeline as opposed to the United States of America having vessels around that pipeline like 8,000 miles away. I don't think the USA did it because none of the evidence supports it. It's not unusual for USA ships to be there with the transponders off. No, I think it is. I think that even if it wasn't directly America doing it, they were definitely offering logistical support. I think most neoliberals online think all pushing Z are socialists. I think that's why, because they're so online and they think Twitter is real life. Yeah, maybe. Saying that I'm pro-Russia, saying that I am pro-Russian invasion of Ukraine, and continuing along with that narrative for years and years, regardless of however many times I have condemned Russia for doing so and have criticized Russia extensively over these past couple of years, is no different than how Republicans would be like, it's not climate change, I don't believe it. And then when faced with like damning evidence that maybe it is climate change, they just go, okay, weather machines actually. It's no different. You lean on conspiracies and falsehoods to justify the narrative that you were primed, you were justified, or trying to find narratives that prove you right. That's it. Found the clip at 140.
Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen says sabotage is indeed a possibility.
We cannot rule it out. It is too early to draw conclusions yet. But this is an extraordinary situation, an unusual situation. And there are 3 leaks. Even with
I don't know why people are feigning ignorance. Just say, like, even if you hate, like, there are plenty of people who hate Russia. Okay. Understandable. They're doing some fucking really horrifying things in Ukraine. I don't know why it's so hard. Damn, that's crazy, man. That all the way back then, I'm still also openly stating, you know, hard for people to admit that like America most likely did this. Like you can, like this doesn't mean that Russia is all of a sudden in the right for invading Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like it seems like there's only one party that has the most to gain and has actively said, we will do whatever the fuck we can to stop Nord Stream 2 from moving forward, which they successfully did. And it seems like, you know, they were not happy with like Russia having any sort of dominance over Europe. They openly said, we'll take any means necessary to stop that from happening. So I don't know why people are like, oh man, there's no way this could be America, even though they are the ones who gain the most out of this. It's Europe gets cucked because they're you know, a piece of their energy dependence, like a pipeline that is a part of their energy dependence on Russia is cucked, making energy prices higher. Russia gets cucked because like it's one way, maybe not the most effective, but one of the ways of delivering energy directly to Europe. You know what I mean? Like out of all those players, like it makes no sense for any of those other guys to do it. U.S. with the help of Moldovan Navy SEALs and cows, says Moldovan Mama Liga. Your voice is so much higher. Did you do vocal therapy? Yeah. I got more mask. Anyway. Fuck this. I'm unsubbing now. This is your worst take to this day. You tricked me and my friend Ryan with your pro-NATO sentiments. We already wrote in Joe Biden on our mail-in ballots, and Ryan is in jail. I'm sorry, Ryan. Anyway, let's continue.
Billions of dollars a month for oil. It's not going to work that way. And I ended it. And then when Biden came in, he gave it back. The biggest project they ever had, right? He gave it back. And then everyone said, Trump is friends with Putin. And so Putin would say, if you're my friend, I'd hate like hell to see you as my enemy. Think of it. And I put a lot of sanctions on. But I got along with Russia. I got along with pretty much everybody. Actually, the tougher they were, the better I did with them. That's a good thing, not a bad thing, because the other ones are easier to handle. But the ones that I got.
I'm going to be interviewed on TV for Univision. What do you think Kamala is getting wrong on the topic of migrants? Thank you. First time being on national television. Easy answer. Kamala Harris. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so do with this information what you will. But my own personal assessment of the situation is that Kamala Harris has dropped the ball entirely by following on Joe Biden's right-wing, white nativist, immigration, anti-immigrant agenda in a country that is not as primed to hate migrants as they think it is. There's plenty of polling that shows that Americans are of two minds, directly at odds with one another in terms of amnesty or setting up pathways to amnesty, while simultaneously looking for increasing deportations in this country. That's what polling shows. A competent Democratic leadership should have leaned on one side of that humanizes migrants, that are wonderful neighbors of ours, that contribute to the American economy in spectacular fashion, as opposed to leaning on the right-wing framing on the issue that immigrants constitute a national security threat. That is completely born out of right-wing hysteria. It is ridiculous, and all evidence points to that statement being incorrect. Immigrants, undocumented migrants, are responsible for less crime per capita than documented and natural-born U.S. citizens. And yet, the Republican Party has dominated discourse on the matter, and the average American now falsely believes that undocumented immigrants are actually doing crimes and are responsible for a greater share of the crimes than even American citizens are responsible for. It's both bad politics and bad policy. It's bad policy because it's harmful policy. It's going to hurt people, right? It's going to hurt the economy if you want to think about it like that. It's bad politics because when you lean on right-wing framing on an issue like this, then all you end up doing is legitimize your opponent's perspective, when that perspective is not born out of data, but instead complete fabrications.
Got along with. And they're also the bigger threats. I got along very well with President Xi of China. But when COVID came, I was not happy with him because it came out of the labs. I mean, they released it from accidentally, I believe. You know, a lot of people would say it wasn't an accident, but they got hit very hard. They got hit as hard as anybody in the world. You know, it was late. It was belated. It was a late hit. Yeah. But when COVID came,
Where are you getting the figures for crime data for foreigners/immigrants versus citizens? It's called this woke website, Communist Babies. What's a good thing for P? Communist Babies for Poverty.gov. Or the other website that I also like to go to is democratichomosocialism.gov. Yeah, cbp.gov, dhs.gov. One stands for Democratic Homosocialism.government, and the other one stands for Communist. Fuck, I don't even know. Communistborderpolicies.gov.
I made an unbelievable trade deal with China. They have to buy $50 billion of our product every year. It was nobody could believe I got that deal done. I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even talk about it. That deal is unbelievable. And what's happened now, our farmers have been hit because Biden hasn't pressed them to honor the deal. You know, I used to, every day,
Yeah, but those stats have issues because certain cities and states weren't giving info to them. Wrong. True and not true because they're making up a majority of arrests in New York City. We're not talking about arrests. We're talking about literal fucking murder and crimes, okay? That's number one. Number two, wrong. That is actually you're mismatching your talking points. Let me tell you why, okay? The Republican talking point is the local law enforcement, especially in big cities like New York or Los Angeles, are not actually sharing all of their data with the FBI. Because the FBI tabulates all of the crime data year over year. This, having said that, is still false because those departments still release their data individually. So while they're not a part of the broader database that the FBI puts forward, it's not like they're fucking hiding their crime rates, dog. You can go to the FBI website and actually find their crime rates personally by looking at individual police departments. You can still have access to their crime data. It's public. So you are mistaken in terms of like crime data being hidden somehow. Okay? So you're wrong on that front. And this is not about immigrants anyway.
get up. How much did China buy today? Sir, I'd call him up and say, you're behind. You have to buy 50 billion. Do you think Biden does that? Biden's sleeping.
Yeah.
But over the last week, I have, we talk about funny or sad. I think it's more sad than funny.
Yeah.
He has one ability I don't have.
Yeah.
He sleeps. He can sleep. This guy goes on a beach and he lays down on one of those, 6 ounce, they weigh 6 ounces and you can't lift it.
Yeah.
They're meant, no, they're meant for children,
Yeah.
young people,
Yeah.
and old people to lift.
Yeah.
They're aluminum, hollowed aluminum.
Yeah.
They weigh very little, and he can't lift. And somebody convinced him he looks good in a bathing suit. And when you're 82, typically bathing suits aren't going to make you look great.
Right,
You're
right.
not going to be enhanced.
Yeah.
All right? It's just one of those things. I can't be sure about.
You're motivated to do my college essay about this, and further research shows how correct you are. Also got a full score, so thanks. You're welcome. The notion that local police departments from major cities like NYPD in New York or Los Angeles Police Department in LA would be hiding their crime data from the general public is such a funny and immediately disprovable conspiracy theory. And it doesn't matter because the Republican Party is not even trying anymore. People just take whatever the fuck they say for granted. Like, it is literally the funniest, the fastest disprovable lie that you could make. And yet people still follow through on it. It's very, very funny. I don't even know where it came from. Like, I don't even know how it began. That like these local departments would just like refuse to reveal their arrest records and their crime data in general. I guess Trump said it at a certain point and people just like ran with it. I don't know. Because that's too stupid for the Heritage Foundation to cook up. Oh, did that guy respond to me, by the way? The one I responded to? My parents say it, so Fox News or other MAGA networks. It's additionally funny because like cops are 86% Republican historically. Like cops are notoriously a monolithic voting bloc for the Republican Party. So then or when you point to like Customs and Border Patrol data, okay, or you report, or you talk about like cops like hiding this information. I get it. I get saying that about doctors because they're like gay and woke, right? They are educated, which means they're probably libtards. But like now you're just shitting on cops. They are your guys. I think the conspiracy started from the FBI statistics not including certain data in the calculations, not necessarily that it was being withheld. It was just a way of calculating the statistics. Of course, the nuance is lost on the hogs. Yeah, I think big cities don't reveal like demographic data of who they arrest. And that's probably what it is. That's like where this conspiracy is coming from. Yeah, crime statistics no longer include data from 30% of the country, including the biggest and most violent cities. In 2021, the FBI required police departments to report data using a new system. That year, data for about 65% of the U.S. population was covered in the FBI's annual report rather than the typical 95%. However, as a standard FBI policy, the missing data was estimated using comparable jurisdictions. In 2022, the FBI data coverage returned to 94% of the population, and the preliminary numbers for 2023 and 2024 signal that the level of police department participation should continue. The FBI's data trend lines have generally tracked the patterns in data compiled by other groups that were not affected by the FBI's methodological switch. I guess that's where it is, right? Like Trump's comments follows the FBI's June 10th release of preliminary data showing that during the first 3 months of 2024, violent crime fell 15.2%. Yeah, that's probably, I mean, he's just upset that like there's less murders happening in the country because he doesn't give a shit about anything. He's just like, damn, that kind of ruins one of my talking points. You guys fucked me up. You know? A lot of times, if you hear a Republican talk about data, understand that it is most likely massaged or outright completely made up. They hate data. Okay? They hate it. They despise it. The facts don't care about your feelings. Shit is completely ridiculous. Anyway. Like, here, I'll give you one example. The smart way to do this back in the day from a more competent Republican Party was to say that immigrants constitute a major burden on our social safety nets. Now, you might be thinking, how is that possible? There's evidence to point to this, actually. Billions of dollars, right? They would always say immigrants take billions of dollars in social safety nets from our public education system, yada, yada, yada. Now, the actual data for this is that the actual data for this completely proves it wrong, right? They were lying by adding the children that were natural born U.S. citizens who are American citizens, okay, into the overall burden on fucking social safety nets. That's just ridiculous. You're just saying, I don't like your parents, so I decided you're no longer American when you're constitutionally American. Get the fuck out of here. So that was the smart way to lie, which the competent Republican Party of the past would lie that way. That's how the think tanks would lie. Nowadays, the stupid way to lie is much simpler and much easier to dismiss. I don't even have to look through countless hours of data to fucking tell you why it's wrong. Back then, I used to have to actually do more research even to disprove this kind of shit. How does Trump lie? He says immigrants kill hundreds of thousands of people every year. Hundreds of thousands of Americans are killed by undocumented migrants. Directly a lie. The actual number, according to communistbuttpatrol.gov, under the banner of the Department of Homosexual Activities, the DHS.gov, is that they're responsible in the fiscal year 2024 for 24 homicides. Now, why does Donald Trump lie like this? if you ask about it a little, if you inquire a little further, he'll say, oh, they're killing with fentanyl. Every undocumented migrant is actually stabbing someone with a fentanyl pin, causing them to overdose, as though that is how they're dying. Because there are thousands and thousands of deaths over fentanyl overdose. Except that's also fucking bullshit. Because if you look at, again, the Department of Socialism numbers, the apprehensions happen at regular points of entry, and 90% of those apprehensions, drug apprehensions at the border, is American citizens. So it's not actually undocumented migrants that are responsible for the drugs flowing over the southern border. It's actually American citizens that are shipping it in. Super simple stuff. And yet Donald Trump lies about it non-fucking stop. And so do the Republicans. You make these middle school jokes for some sophisticated reason, but it gets really confusing sometimes. I'm just joking. Yeah. The Department of Socialism. Survivorship bias, bro. The drugs apprehended are not necessarily representative of all the drugs that make it through. You're not going to do this right now. I can't tell if you're fucking with me or if you're genuinely this fucking stupid. Okay? This does not even logically make sense, okay? You cannot have a consistent supply chain relying on so many different factors, such as random undocumented migrants that are crossing the border, shoving fucking fentanyl, like the Blaines with the bullets. What? Okay, I don't even know what he's saying. Never mind. All right, let's continue with this.
About that, but typically you don't.
Depends what he's packing. He could.
I don't know what
like
the hell he's packing, but I don't want to, and I don't want to know either. I don't know, but he has an ability to fall asleep while on camera. He can lie down on one of those things, and in minutes he's stone cold out.
How does he do it?
And he's got cameras because he's the president, so they have cameras on him.
Yeah.
And then they show him sleeping on the beach.
Yeah.
You'll never see me sleeping in front of camera.
How do we get you better at that? Like, what can we do? How do we work on that as a country?
As a country?
Yeah.
We got to save our country. Look, we are a nation in decline, whether you like it or not.
I hate hearing that.
I know. I hate
that
it.
hurts me. That hurts me. As a proud American, I
well, what you like though is, but we're going to be greater than ever before.
So that's, I think, the messaging that I think.
Yeah.
I think that's really nice to hear.
Well, that's my ultimate message. But you can't avoid the fact that we've allowed 21 million people into our country in the last 3.5 years. And I don't know your persuasion. I don't know if you guys are liberal or what, but nobody can be happy with 21 million people openly walking into a place we don't know. And it was released last week that 13,000 of those people are murderers. 13,099. 13,000 of those people are in prison. They're incarcerated for murder, and they let them out.
I think you.
This right here is just simply has, I think, a DHS letterhead. This is every undocumented migrant that is responsible for a murder over the course of like multiple decades. The number of undocumented migrants on U.S. soil is, if you believe him, 21 million. So even on that front, that doesn't, that doesn't make sense. Trump is a shining new talking point, an outrageously false claim that was ginned up by right-wing media and then embraced by the GOP nominee as an official fact. Trump then embellishes the fact with additional falsehoods. Notice how he said he's seen a list and some on it have murdered 10 people. There is no such list detailing the killings committed by 13,000 people. That's just a figment of his imagination. Sorry, chatter. Your Fitima joke is not going to be fitting in this fucking chat. Okay, I got it. You were really invested. You really wanted me to go, what's Fitima? But you are now permanently banned from the chat. Okay, because you spammed it way too much. Not only was it low effort, but also, ridiculous. Here's the truth. Most of these killers are in detention, not prowling the streets, and have been since before Trump was president. Exactly. On September 25th, acting ICE Director PJ Lechlitner responded to a request from Representative Tony Gonzalez, made in March for data on the number of non-citizens with criminal convictions on ICE's non-detained docket. As of July 21st, he wrote, there were 662,000 people with criminal histories, convicted or pending, not detained by ICE. In a breakdown by crime, he noted 13,000 people were convicted of homicide, were not detained by ICE. 2 days later, Gonzalez tweeted the letter, highlighting a number of killers. Americans deserve to be safe in their own communities, he wrote. Okay. His tweet was immediately interpreted by right-wing media and Trump campaign as saying these killers entered the country during the Biden administration and were on the loose and roaming the country. The letter did not say that these criminals were not in custody. The non-detained docket refers only to individuals not detained by ICE. In fact, in the same letter, Lechlitner told Gonzalez that ICE's detention capacity was 41,000 beds, showing that there was not enough space to house these criminals. As of July, 21,277 beds were occupied by convicted killers. The Supreme Court ruled in 2001 that ICE could not detain people indefinitely. So with little space available in ICE detention centers, many criminals convicted of serious crimes are shipped to another facility to serve out their terms. Some non-citizens on the non-detained docket may participate in the agency's alternatives to detention programs, which generally track people with GPS monitors and a SmartLink phone app. But murderers, understandably, would not qualify. Oh, sorry. As of July 21st, 277 beds were occupied by convicted killers. I apologize. I'm just like fucking reading through it. Okay, you can't blame me for that. The way he... $277. A 2021 Biden administration memo made detention a priority for non-citizens who pose a current threat to public safety. Moreover, these non-citizens include people who entered the country legally with a long-term non-immigrant visa or earned a permanent U.S. residency but were convicted of a crime. There is no breakdown about how many of the non-detained docket entered the country illegally, but one cannot assume, as Trump does, that these are all undocumented immigrants. The answer is, the actual data, rather, is that over the course of many decades, there are 13,000 people who are now no longer documented. They might have been documented or even legal permanent residents that have done the crime of murder. This did not happen under the Biden watch. This happened over the course of many, many decades. And these people are obviously serving their fucking criminal sentence in prison. If you thought at any given moment that a fucking undocumented migrant that did a murder was released back into the streets, I can convince you of anything. Okay? There is nothing I can't convince you of. I could tell you that tomorrow China is invading America, and they told me about it, and in secret by way of TikTok messages, and you would believe it. Okay? I could tell you Mudang is a psyop to do soft power for Thailand, and you'd be like, Dad, that tracks. I believe it. It is one of the stupidest fucking things that you could ever believe. And you want to know what's sad? Even my uncle kind of believes certain aspects of this talking point. He literally thinks Gavin Newsom released rapists and murderers into the streets of Los Angeles. And that is not only a liberal man, but a motherfucker that has a Columbia law degree. He got an undergraduate in Wharton, okay, where Trump also went to, and then followed through on his higher education pursuit and got a law degree from Columbia. That man who has committed his entire life to being a progressive spokesperson literally also thought, I don't know if he still does, but also thought that one, Venezuelan migrant gangs have overtaken a Aurora, Colorado apartment, and that Gavin Newsom literally fucking released 75,000 criminals, some of which were rapists, drug dealers, and murderers, into the fucking streets. I tell you this story because I need you to understand that you can be victim to propaganda so easily. Okay? It's very simple. Before you know it, if you lean on that reactionary dog in you, that part of your brain that says, this sounds like a real thing, and you don't follow through on that pursuit by researching the subject matter, or rather, if you research subject matter and your research is Facebook memes, you too can be swept away by reactionary sentiment. Okay? That's it. The data in this letter is being misrepresented, said the Department of Homosexual Sex. Wow. The woke police at the Department of Homosocialism openly came out against this fucking letter. That didn't stop the Republicans from portraying this letter in a ridiculous manner. In a ridiculous manner at all. They did not stop. They kept saying it. Trump just said it in front of Andrew Schultz. The data goes back decades. It includes individuals who entered the country over the past 40 years or more, the vast majority of whose custody determination was made long before this administration. It also includes many who are under the jurisdiction or currently incarcerated by federal, state, or local law enforcement partners. I'm sorry. I hate to say this about your uncles and your aunts and your parents or your friends, but if you or anyone you know legitimately thought that in the United States of America, someone who was previously a legal permanent resident or an undocumented immigrant that entered the country illegally did a heinous crime such as a murder, and then the American government went, go right ahead, sir. We can't prosecute you. We can't detain you. You are the biggest fucking idiot on the planet, okay? That's it. There is no other way that I can have a conversation with you. I need you to understand. Anyone that believes this is so fucking stupid. Just lie to them. The only people that get to do that is Israel and some Gulf monarch family members. That's it. That's it. Those are the only, you're not making much sense, to be honest. I'm not making sense. You think that the American government is letting undocumented migrants who have done homicides out into the fucking streets? Like, undocumented migrants are some of the poorest people. Probably. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. They don't even have fucking adequate legal representation. How the fuck are they? Oh. So therefore commit the most crime, you dipshit. Probably legal system. Dude, you are... You have the working intelligence of a potato. Okay? You are barely sentient, dude. You're just saying things that you think sound smart now. This is incredible. Bro says source, legal system. The American government routinely executes people that are declared innocent after the fact. The American government does this extrajudicial killing by way of the police force, and it often does it in its criminal justice system, like the case in Missouri. You think that same exact criminal justice system is letting criminals go because they're undocumented? That is insane. We have an unimaginably reactionary white supremacist criminal justice system. One guide by a troll. As a person who used to work on asylum cases, y'all have no idea how quickly and how much money the U.S. spends on deporting people expediently. Yes. Oh. This is a good question. Ask them what would be the benefit in their logic. Yeah, that's just a fun experience for us, though. I do want to ask that to the next Trump supporter. They're probably going to say, like, because they want to kill white people or something. I don't know. They want their votes. At least this guy said, you right. Oh. Fuck, man. When undocumented immigrants commit crimes, they get an ICE detainer. So either they go to jail, then get deported, or just get deported. No, usually they just go to jail. Okay? Because there's no clear indication that you're going to stop them from entering the country illegally again. So no, they just go to jail usually. They'll get deported after they're done serving their sentence. It's so crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a crazy fucking thing. Let's see what else
support on this, though. I think everybody,
Tremendous support,
regardless.
I think I'll let you know. I'll let you know on November 6th.
Yeah.
if I have support.
Yeah.
But the day after the election.
I don't
November
think there's
5th, the most important day.
Yeah.
No,
I think people are agreeing they want a strong border. And I think I don't think that's an issue that's like tearing the country apart. But I do think that there is something
there are some people that want to open, and they're either.
But they're like politicians that are getting some sort of reinforcement through this. The average American, I don't think, is going,
Well,
we
they hate
need
our
an
country.
open border. Yeah.
I think only a person that hates our country, actually, maybe it's a down deep hatred, can want open borders. So we took in more than 21 million people in the last 3.5 years, and we have no idea where they even come from. They're terrorists, they're drug dealers. You know, in Venezuela, and it's not just South America, particularly.
Oh, he's going to start saying Venezuela is no more crime. Venezuela, no more crime. Maduro. He's erased crime. How? By sending all the criminals to America, which I allowed by doing TPS to Venezuelan migrants. I ruined their economy with sanctions. And then in a political move, I said, come to America, I give you TPS, which he did. He literally extended TPS on his way out to the Venezuelan migrants. The only group that he did not extend TPS status to was Haitians, and that was after he had already extended TPS status to Haitian migrants as well. He just stopped doing it at the end. That's it. TPS means temporary protected status, which means if you are an asylum seeker, your claim will be heard expeditiously, and you will have the proper paperwork to be able to fucking work inside of the U.S. Borders. So why does no one bring this up when he's going on his rants? Because a lot of people are fucking dumb, dude. That's it. A lot of people don't know what the truth is, and a lot of people don't fucking give a shit. And the Democratic Party is completely captive to this right-wing framing on the subject matter because they saw one fucking poll that said Americans want to kill migrants. And they immediately were like, oh my God, we have to do 30% less migrant murder, but we have to do migrant murder. Like, we just have to do it. That's it. That's literally it. That's the real reason. If you want to understand it, that is where this is coming from. And also, Andrew Schultz doesn't know any of this shit. Of course, he's not going to fucking push back. What do you mean? If Ro Khanna was shocked about some of the fucking immigration data that I delivered to him in person at the DNC, then I don't fucking expect Andrew Schultz to be like, actually, sir, what you're saying here is untrue.
Venezuela. They've taken their criminals off the streets of Caracas, which was a very dangerous city. You couldn't walk across the street in Caracas and get a loaf of bread. Right now, it's a safe city. Their crime is down 72%. They've taken all of their criminals, almost all of them, and they brought them into the United States and dumped them.
That's not true. He did give TPS to the Vuvuzelans before he left office, but the Haitians back in 2019. He also gave TPS to people at the top of the hour. You're pretty good at these usually, but not this time. Suck my dick. Okay? How dare you? How dare you actually say the correct information in the beginning and then fucking use that as a segue? God damn it. It's like, come on, man. It's 7 hours and 30 minutes into the broadcast. You can't be cooking me like that, dude. I'm off my game. I'm too focused on, I'm too locked in on fighting disinformation. Asshole. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Fuck you.
That's not ending well. You know where some of them went? To Aurora in Colorado. And they took over the town. They took it over.
The whole town?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. You know how they took it over?
Thank you for the 10
With
gifted.
guns. If they went into the real estate business, like me, I had to go to a bank and borrow. Yeah. They went in with
guns.
MK-47s, or they went in with...
Another thing I'm like incredibly annoyed by, all the fucking like supposed liberal assholes that played a significant role in the fucking tar and feathering campaign that I've been receiving since like Russia invaded Ukraine, is that created so much fucking resentment, and that gave so much more ammunition to these fucking right-wing Nazi accounts on Twitter to use their talking points against me on a regular basis, which now means these people like Andrew Schultz and so many others that are supposedly centrist but like literally see shit on Twitter and get their notes from that also think I'm not like a fucking credible source of information. So you, if you truly did care about fucking fighting against disinformation, have officially cooked one fucking outlet in the minds of anyone that goes on Twitter. You did that. You played a big role in that, but the reality is you don't give a shit about misinformation anyway. You just are usually just a person with deep animosity.
They went in
Would have
with
been so much easier.
weapons like nobody's ever seen before. You know,
I think most people
they
are
went
on
in with
board.
military-style weapons. They've taken it over.
But I think most people are on board with deporting any illegal that has committed a crime.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's bipartisan support of that. I think that
You're literally profiling a homeless... What? You're privileged elitist, you fucking stupid, is what you are. Clearly, you're getting promoted. You are genuinely a sick fuck. Did you really say that white people in the South are afraid of mass white suppression? What the fuck are you on right now? Hear me when I say this. You're a piece of shit. You are literally destroying this country for content. Clearly, you're getting paid for promoting Israel / the Democratic Party. You privileged elitist. You're fucking stupid is what you are. Making content off people's destruction. Oh, he's unbiased now. Got it. Yep. This is real news. He's playing both sides. Sure. Absolutely. You're literally profiling a homeless man in Florida as a pedo/racist. Yeah, bro, yes. If you think I'm being paid by, like, out of everything that you just said, if you think that I'm being paid by the Democratic Party in Israel, you need to immediately up your schizophrenia medication. Like, you need to, you have gone way past the point of like missing multiple instances where you were supposed to take your medication. You've gone above and beyond. Like, you need to go to the doctor immediately. You're a fucking millionaire sitting in your house talking about people who've just lost everything. What are you saying, dude? I don't even think you need medication. I think you need to fucking lay off the crack pipe. I have a few minutes to spare today, so I'm thrilled to hear you spit out rhetorical bullshit and watch you transform into an Israeli Zionist IRL. I love this. You are now the exact entity you hate. You are going to gaslight the fuck out of people's situations you know nothing about. People will die from this, and you do not give a fuck. What the fuck? %59% of American immigrants live in the U.S. South, but no, they're all in Springfield, Ohio. What the fuck? Ban me, I'm just a peasant chatter. No, dude, you're not a peasant chatter. You're just insane. And I don't think I can explain to you how deeply mentally unwell you are. You probably do need to get medical help. I think you might be having an episode right now. What the fuck? You definitely need to log off though. Straight up. I am worried. I think this chatter thinks all your sarcastic comments are real takes. What the fuck? Bro, I'm sorry, but you have no idea what you're talking about in regards to the South. That's all. What have I said about the South? What? I think you think I'm someone else. Like, if you... Now I want to know what she's saying. No, I think he's a millionaire. I'm just fast at typing. What? Every single thing that you brought forward is the exact opposite of what I have advocated for. I am a little worried about what you think I'm saying. You're literally saying I'm an addict off my meds, crazy? No, you are on crack. That's for sure. Like, if you think I'm being paid by the Democratic Party in Israel, you have to be on crack. Guest star? No, I'm not gonna fucking... What do you think? This is a kick stream, dude? I'm not gonna like abuse someone who is very clearly having a fucking mental health episode. Y'all are crazy.
The tricky thing comes, and honestly, I have empathy. Like, you're a business owner. Yeah. There's been people... I'm not trying to out you, but like there's been people I'm sure that might not have had like legal citizenship that have maybe worked in various businesses.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, you know, I've definitely been taken care of as a kid by people that weren't legal, babysitters and stuff. So there are people that maybe would like a path to citizenship that I have a lot of empathy for.
You have to start with the criminals.
Agreed.
Okay, look.
But
I
maybe we can.
It's very tough.
Maybe we can open our hearts a little bit to the people who are trying to be, you know, good, hardworking Americans.
And you know what's going to happen? You're going to be in the midst of this. Now, you know, Dwight Eisenhower was sort of a moderate, General Eisenhower. Did you know?
Bro, he's about to say the most unhinged shit that Dwight Eisenhower did that he loves, the Bracero program.
Oh, that they had 8% generals, president of the United States. 8% were generals, 92% were politicians. And then you had Trump. See, that's a weave. You know, we go off at just
I
for a
like
second.
that. Because now I'm like, where are we weaving to? I'm into this.
No, think of it, because we're talking about generals, and then you get back onto the general.
There you go.
Because what I was going to say is that Eisenhower.
I like the
is a
play-by-play
moderate.
for the week.
No, it's good, though. Isn't it great? We go into it. We mention Eisenhower, and then I say he was a general, 8% generals, 92%, and now you go back, okay? It's part of the weave, you know? Then you go back. No, you got to
Finger
keep
roll.
it all together. You got to be sharp. If you're not sharp, you're dead. Think of it. Think of it. No, but think of it. So we have 92% and 8%. Nobody, no admirals, and no business people until me. So now we have me. I'm one.
Yeah.
So I'm.
And then maybe things change after that. Here's.
No, I think it will change. There'll never be another business person that ever does this.
Okay, here's a
because
question.
I've been treated so badly that I think that no person of success. Don't forget, my whole life was deals. Most guys are stiffs.
Yes.
Like they'll run for office. There's no deal. There's no nothing. You can't get yourself in trouble much.
Yeah.
You can be a crooked politician, which some are.
Yeah.
But basically, I do so many deals. I do hundreds of thousands of pages of documents a year. You know, when I'm really in the mood, right?
Yeah.
And if they find one page, I got myself a problem politically.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at it. They went after me for years on taxes.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
They went to the United States Supreme Court. I gave them tens of thousands of pages, and you never heard about it again.
Well, that is what often happens, which is probably incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, rich people never successfully fucking launch a mountain of paperwork against underfunded government agencies, especially when it comes to like tax stuff. The entire system is designed in a way for a real estate magnate to be able to fucking skirt any responsibility. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Also, I thought we were talking about Eisenhower.
Frustrating, which is lobbing an
Well, that's the
allegation,
problem, yeah.
and then when it's proven to be false, they just move on.
Oh, they don't
It's
even
kinda
write
quiet.
about it. I called the New York Times on something. I was right, and they
The
said,
Russian
"Are
thing
you
was-
going to do?"
was wild,
Yeah,
like-
the Russian hoax.
Yeah.
Well, I'm suing Pulitzer. You know.
The way I know Donald Trump's talking points better than him is kind of funny. The reason why he brought up Eisenhower was because he was going to talk about the Bracero program and how he was seen as a moderate, and he deported 1.6 million Mexicans and everybody loved it. That's why he was going to say it. But because his brain is fucking scrambled and fried, that he just like doesn't even know what his talking points are. And he just jumped over the talking point and started talking about like, my administration does deals. I'm doing so many deals.
Don't know this. They got a Pulitzer Prize for their New York
the
Times,
hoax?
Washington
Oh, wow.
Post. Yeah, for the
Wow.
hoax. They got the Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah.
So the writers got Pulitzer Prizes for their brilliant coverage of the Russia hoax.
Interesting.
But it turned out to be right. So
Yeah.
we wrote a letter to the Pulitzer Prize,
Yeah.
right? You know, the committee, it's a big foundation.
Yeah.
And we said, it's a lawsuit that's going on right
Yeah.
now. And we said, we demand that you take back the Pulitzer Prizes. We demand a apology.
Yeah.
Because you're actually, by leaving them, you're sort of saying it happened, and it didn't happen. Everybody now is
You're
giving it
rewarding
up.
the lie.
Yeah. So I sued them. They said, well, we did what we did. That's okay. That's all right. So I sued them. And they've got themselves a big problem now.
Yeah.
And this suit's moving along, and I think we're going to win that suit easily because they gave people Pulitzer Prizes that were wrong.
Yeah.
You know who should get the Pulitzer Prizes equivalent, if you could? Guys like Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
Guys like, that there were numerous of them that, I mean, not as many as the fake news, as the very liberal media, but we had tremendous John Solomon. He's a great writer. So many people knew that that was a hoax. They should get prizes. I don't know, Pulitzer Prize, because you don't give Pulitzer Prizes to a guy on television.
Yeah.
You can't get, in theory, a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of people that got that right. They got nothing. So we sued Pulitzer on the basis that they should absolutely take that prize back. And I said, by not taking it back, you're trying to say that it actually happened, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're defaming me because by you
Yeah, I
not
think
taking those
there's
prizes back,
justification.
you're actually saying it happened.
Take a break for a second because some of y'all need to upgrade your wallet. Some of y'all don't because last year you scooped up the Flagrant Extra wallet. Okay, we collect.
Bro, the amount, what the fuck? The amount of ads, bro. They're weaving in all these ads in between the bobbing and weaving from Trump.
Because I know we have a limited time, but important thing. Like,
How are we doing so far?
you're doing great.
You're doing amazing.
Not
They're
bad.
making us
A
wrap up.
little
We want
bit.
you for
Yeah,
longer.
yeah, no, this is great.
I'll bet it's my people. You know, I do have other things, but
I know you're busy,
this
but
is,
we're
how interesting is this stuff?
see, this is the fun
You know,
stuff.
he's a
Yeah.
Alex
he's
is a
an
good kid.
influencer.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
You know, I asked him. I said, Alex, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
And I wasn't even
Oh, you're
thinking
not
to
you're not
myself.
telling him he's got
I
time
said,
now.
who is, give him a little more time, what the hell? Can I override Alex? I don't know, yeah. Unlike Biden, he can't, I can. I can say, Alex, I'm doing it. He'll say, thank you, sir. No, Biden can't. They turn the cameras off with this guy. Do you ever see it? The cameras are off, the lights go off, everyone. Because you see, he's in deep trouble. We're in no trouble.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I asked Alex, he's an influencer. You know, he's a big name influencer. I don't know if he's in this league. I don't know who the hell knows. But I said to him, knowing nothing about influencers, I said, who is the biggest of all the influencers? Sir, that's the easiest question you've ever asked me. Who is it? You, sir.
It's true.
I said, really? I never thought of it. He said, you're the biggest. You have hundreds of millions of people. You have more people than anybody else by far. You know, before they took away, I went from having 280 million on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, the three of them combined, 280. I think I was number one because Zuckerberg told me that. He came to the White House. He said, congratulations, you're number one on Facebook. You know, so I went from that to having nobody. That was like cold turkey, right? You'd call that cold turkey. Like,
Yeah.
That would be like if we didn't do business with China. One day I said, no more business with China. That's, you go cold turkey, right? And I went and I said, boy, but I had a lot to say. This was after the presidency, of course. You know, they do it after the presidency. During the presidency, they're a little bit.
They're very nice.
But anyway, I went totally off. I had nobody. And I had all these ideas. And I couldn't get the word out. And I had some good thoughts. And people wanted to hear my thoughts. And I did a thing called Save America. And essentially it was like the old-fashioned, you guys are far too young. In the old days, what we did, we didn't have tweeting or we didn't
Hasan, who are you texting? Your mom.
have truth. Truth is doing great, by the way. Would you please use truth? I love truth. Use truth.
Claim to watch Trump to make fun of him. You haven't made fun of him. Okay, y'all are being fucking ridiculous, dude. I spent top of the hour. I already ran it, dumbass. I fucking spent like an hour addressing one of his false statements. Like it takes a while, you know? Why are you platforming Trump without any pushback? Because I like him and I want him to win.
Truth, everybody, it's my voice. But I also use X. But I went from having all these people, and I did an old-fashioned press release. It's called. We used to go to press release. And somebody would write up something and
send it to all the
and I
periodicals.
started doing it, Save America, and they got longer and better and longer, and I started doing it. And man, I had millions of people. Now nobody else could do that because you know if somebody puts out a press release, it just doesn't work out too well. But I did it, and it did well. And then I did Truth, and I'm very good friends with Elon, and we owe Elon a lot for what he's done with X. And I use X too. But my voice is on Truth.
Cucked. Absolutely the most cucked fucking thing to say. Calling Twitter X Omega cucked. That's it. By the proof of the last chatter, you can't be making jokes like that anymore, Lamau. True. Yeah, well, if I primed my jokes and my sentiment to like the most insane person, then this would be a much more boring broadcast.
And it's done really well. I mean, if I want to get something out, I put it on Truth, and everybody picks it up. You know,
That's the thing.
everybody
You
picks
put it there, and then you see
it.
other
No, it's
people.
picked up all
yeah.
over the place.
Yeah.
It's picked up. I mean, I could be on anything I want, but yeah, I put it out on Truth, and it just gets picked up all over the place. So it's been very good. But he said I was the #1 influencer. See? The weave.
The weave
Yeah,
is great.
I
Okay, question. Okay, you've got your son, Barron.
Do you think I'm the *1 influencer?
I think it's
So who
Rogan.
else?
I think it's Rogan.
Okay, I can't do this anymore, dude. Dude, come on. Like this absolutely demonstrates like how fucking primed, how locked in, how lasered they are into a very, very specific orbit, let's say. He's not wrong. You see the Spotify charts? Come on, man. Like, if Trump is on the influencer equation, then Taylor Swift is. Like, what are we talking about? Like, if we're talking anyone and everyone that is technically considered an influencer, like, who's the most influential person on the planet? It's not Donald Trump. Like, I'm not saying Joe Rogan is not a known entity. It's just when you ask someone who's the most famous person on the planet, your opinion should probably be something like, I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, Taylor Swift, something like that. Not fucking Joe Rogan. Are you kidding me? Like, that's so ridiculous, dude. Yeah, it's like saying Kid Rock.
You and Kim Kardashian. Like, Kim Kardashian influences the shape of women's bodies and faces.
Yo, come on, Andrew. You old, man. Even Kim Kardashian doesn't have that motion no more.
Like, you see so many, they're literal
Do they want to
shape
look
of
like,
human
do
beings.
they want to look like her?
They want to look like her. So once we start,
I love, dude, Trump gives Moodang when he gets inquisitive, though. Like, it's my favorite. Like, look. That was a real question. I love when he gets inquisitive. Look.
you and Kim Kardashian.
Like, when he was talking to Theo Vaughn, and Theo Vaughn was like talking about cocaine, and he's like, wow, so you like it? You like doing it? It makes you feel good?
Like, Kim Kardashian influences the shape of women's bodies and faces. Like, you see so many, they're literal
Do they want to
shape
look
of
like,
human
do
beings.
they want to look like her?
Do they want to look like her? What are these women doing?
They want to look like her. So once we start seeing dudes want to look like you,
Yeah.
and I see young Jack over there, I think he's trying to do it.
Yeah.
Jack.
Your
Oh,
TikTok
yeah,
guy.
TikTok Jack.
TikTok Jack.
TikTok. So tell me. You know, this is a little new world. I call him, his name is Jack. I call him TikTok Jack. I'm good with names, you know.
You are.
You're very good at
You
that.
are.
And then poke
Oh my God, Glaze! Glaze! You're very good, sir. Sir, you're the best at names. Some say names didn't exist before you, sir. Hey, yo! This man! Bro, have some decency. God damn. Sir, you're so good at names.
Pocahontas.
Yeah.
We have names.
Oh my God! Stop! Stop! He's falling over himself. He's dying.
You are.
You're very good at
You
that.
are.
And
You
then
are.
Pocahontas.
Bro, this is like, are you trying to fuck him? Bro, this is like, are you trying to have sex with Donald Trump? Are you sexually interested in Donald Trump? Because, like, the level of fake enthusiasm you're demonstrating in this moment is like, you gotta want to fuck him. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. We have names.
What about, and there was,
He's rolling on the floor laughing, okay? He's raffle mouth.
Tampon Tim was good. What about,
The problem with Tampon Tim, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
In other words,
It's a mouthful.
it's a lot.
He's Ishbal, as the fucking Zoomers say. It's like, that's so good. You said Pocahontas. What the fuck?
And you can't stutter it through when you call it. It's really a lousy word to say.
Yo, you hear him fucking choke on it? That was him gagging. He went.
Yeah.
But it's quite accurate, right? there are some, like Comrade Kamala. It's a little hard to say. She's comrade because she's obviously a communist.
Yeah.
She's horrible.
Obviously. That much is obvious. Obviously, she's a communist.
So I call her comrade.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. But when you put the name,
Bro, even he doesn't like it. He knows there's no motion there. He's like, it's not the best.
names together,
I
it's
gotta
a
pee.
little, you got to be able to pume. No, you got to be able to put it out there.
What?
But we have a lot.
What the fuck was that? Hey, yo, what was that? Bro, I'm about to piss my pants. That was
A
crazy.
lot of them I can't go into with you because some of my best ones. Some of my best ones are from the Republican primaries.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all friends of mine now.
Oh,
And I
now
don't
you
wanna-
got to be nice.
So I've taken.
What about
that-
Mike Pence? You got anything for Mike Pence?
Well, it's a shame because he and I had a very good
What happened to him?
relationship.
Hanging out
He
somewhere.
couldn't cross the line of doing what was right, in my opinion. Some people would disagree with that, but he had the right to go and put them before the legislatures and have them reassess because they found out a lot of bad things. And he had a lawyer that said he didn't have that right, but he did have that right. And you know why we found out that that was true? Because they changed the law after the election so that he couldn't do what I said he could do.
Yeah.
Okay? They changed the law so that a vice president could no longer do what I said he could do. So, in other words, I turned out to be right. But it's a shame. We had a very good relationship for 99.9% of the thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think he's a good man. I think he's a good
that's
man.
good.
Unfortunately, I wish he would have had the stamina, maybe courage, maybe both, to go further. Because we have to have honest elections in our country. And if we're afraid to challenge an election, we're in big trouble, you know? They say, if you challenge, they've challenged elections. The Democrats, look at Maxine Waters. How dare them, you
I'm
know?
not going back.
They've challenged
2000.
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
Almost all of the Democrats challenged.
Yeah.
But when we challenge, they say, he's a threat to democracy.
Yeah.
These are con artists, and they're very bad for our country.
Yeah.
So I'm going to weed them out. I'm going to weed them out. I'll do it in honor of you.
Okay, so tell me this. So tell me this situation. Okay, Barron is 18. He's handsome. He's tall.
Yeah.
He's rich.
He's got the whole ball game.
He's
that kid.
unleashed in New York City.
It's-
Are you sure you want to reverse Roe v. Wade now? I mean, maybe give him a few years. You know.
Well,
get
you know,
his-
it's up to the states now. It's up to the states
Yeah.
because I believe in exceptions and all of the different
Yes.
things.
You've been vocal about that.
I've been very
Would
well.
you try to
no,
Oh, come on. Bro, Jesus Christ. Okay, you don't have to help him, dog. Jesus Christ. I guess he can. His audience is probably like 98% male.
I mean, I think a lot of people agree with me.
Yeah.
You know, it was very
No one. It's the one thing that is a major loser for you, dude. It is crazy. It's like he knows it's the one issue he hasn't been able to like expertly communicate out of. Ain't nobody agrees with you on this. Nobody.
very strong, very, very tough. And Republicans were going to lose a lot of elections having to do with a lot of other things, too, because there are many issues. We have the border, we have this, we have wars, we have everything.
Yeah.
And Roe v. Wade was always about getting it back to the states.
Yeah.
And then people started talking about the number of weeks and this, that, all these. But nobody wanted, no legal scholar, no Democrat, no Republican, liberal, conservative. Nobody wanted it in the federal government. It shouldn't be in the.
Okay, by the way, this is giving Kamala a little bit. Like, this is bot behavior. Every single talking point so far, with the exceptions of like him going "Pum," has been just the same exact shit that he said at the debate. Speak for your fucking self, bro. No, I mean, there's like moments in there where the human jumps out. But like, he's just been saying the same shit during the debate, during his speeches. I would say that his Theo Von interview was significantly better than this. Like, obviously he's going to do messaging discipline, but like, no, dude, now you need the pills. No, like all of the important notes that he hits on are identical. He's even he's fucking talking to Andrew Schultz about how every legal scholar agreed with him on Roe v. Wade. Like, that's ridiculous. That's, first of all, like, you don't even need to bring that shit up, honestly, because it's fucking bullshit. But like, why are you bringing it up in this situation?
The federal government. And the legal scholars, it was abhorrent. They didn't want it, and they didn't want it in the federal government.
They didn't want it, and they didn't want it.
Now, and it was in the federal government.
I know you said, sorry.
What we did is, we moved it back to the states and a vote.
Bro, this also kind of sucks because it's like, I think his motion is, I think his motion is gone a little bit, but like, you got to throw a wrench in this. You have to, in order to make this more entertaining, you got to like sometimes be a little bit more adversarial, because like, otherwise just letting an old man drone on and on and on, and it's boring. Keep him on his tippy toes. That's why Donald Trump has to come on the broadcast, honestly. That's what I think. He has to come on the broadcast so he can fucking... So he can make some content. You kind of did, but you missed it. Did what? All right, I'm fucking tired, dude. You really want him in your house? No, I'll do it somewhere else. I'm done. This was too much for me. Okay. Now that Barron is at NYU, maybe we can get him on. His attitude is going to shift dramatically.